Iran thought they had the perfect plan: cheap drones, cheap missiles, flood the sky with enough threats until America runs out of expensive weapons to shoot them down with. It almost worked. This is the story of two American pilots, outnumbered, nearly out of weapons, flying damaged jets over a harbor full of guns trying to kill them. And the moment everything came down to one final decision. Stay with me. It started as a routine combat air patrol over the Persian Gulf. Two US F-18 Super Hornets flying between an American destroyer and Iran's port of Bandar Abbas. Watching, waiting. Then the call came in from the E-2 Hawkeye, the radar aircraft circling high above the fleet. Contacts, low and slow, headed straight for the American ships. Iran had a secret weapon, and it wasn't a missile. It wasn't a fighter jet. It was a converted cargo ship called the Iris Shaheed, disguised to look like an aircraft carrier, sitting in the harbor, launching Shahed drones off its deck one after another, every single minute, like a pitching machine that never runs out of baseballs. Each drone cost $20,000. Each American Sidewinder missile cost $400,000. Iran was winning the economics 20-1, and they knew it. The first F-18 pilot found the drone at 11 miles on his thermal camera, small, slow, skimming the water. He selected a Sidewinder missile and waited for the lock tone. The seeker found the drone's exhaust, a tiny piston engine barely warmer than the sun-heated water beneath it. The tone wavered, firmed, then broke lock completely. The drone banked left on its pre-programmed route and disappeared into the thermal background of the warm Gulf. 2 attempts, no shot. The gun was the only option. But using the gun meant diving down to low altitude, nose pointed directly at Bandar Abbas harbor, and every anti-aircraft gun on that waterfront. He rolled the jet over and pointed the nose at the water. 8,000 feet, 6,000, 4,000. The harbor filled his cockpit window. Cranes, ships on fire, and the dark shapes of anti-aircraft positions growing larger by the second. Iranian Zu-23 gunners on the waterfront locked onto the descending American jet. Tracers rose in long arcs, looking almost lazy from a distance. Not lazy at 3,000 feet. The pilot held the dive, squeezed the trigger at 1 mile. 20-millimeter rounds tore through the drone's wing. He hauled back on the stick and climbed, straight through 2 streams of tracer fire converging on exactly the corridor he was flying through. A 23-millimeter round cracked against the left intake housing. Engine instruments read normal. Whatever it hit, it hadn't found anything critical. This time, his wingman splashed 2 more drones on Sidewinders. Better angles, cooler backgrounds, 4 kills between them, and then the Hawkeye called new contacts. Same bearing. The Iranian ship was still launching, 1 drone every 60 seconds, and it showed no signs of stopping. The lead pilot checked his weapons. 2 Sidewinders left. His wingman had 3. 5 missiles between 2 jets and a ship that launched drones faster than they could shoot them down. The math was brutally simple. Iran was going to outlast them. But then both pilots saw something that changed everything. The Iranian ship wasn't just carrying drones. On its deck sat 8 anti-ship cruise missiles, and the kind that could put an American destroyer on the bottom of the Gulf in minutes. The mission had just split in 2 directions at the same time. One pilot had to take out that ship now before those missiles launched. The other had to stay and keep shooting drones alone with almost nothing left to shoot with. The flight lead pushed north toward the Iranian ship. His wingman stayed south. Then the Hawkeye called something new. Fast mover. Supersonic. No friendly identification signal. Aimed directly at the 2 American jets. Fighter-sized. Mach 1.2. No response to identification calls. The lead locked it at 40 miles. 1 trigger pull away from either shooting down an Iranian MiG or making the worst mistake of the entire war. What he didn't know, what he couldn't know, was that an American F-18 from another squadron had taken missile damage earlier and was running south toward a tanker with a broken transponder. No identification signal. No idea it had just become the most dangerous friendly aircraft in the Gulf. An Iranian pilot who knew he was locked would be pulling hard and dumping chaff immediately. A friendly pilot with a broken transponder wouldn't know he needed to. 15 miles. The thermal camera resolved the image. Twin tails, familiar silhouette, American jet. He broke off and turned back toward the Iranian ship. 4 miles of fuel burned, delivery window still barely open, and 3 more drones had just slipped through the gap. The wingman was now completely out of missiles, gun only. 1 pass left before his fuel ran out, not 1 pass per drone. 1 pass total. He dove into the anti-aircraft envelope. This time, the Iranian gunners didn't chase him. They waited. They set up a wall of tracer fire between him and the drone. He flew straight through it. The drone tumbled into the Gulf. He pulled up hard. The jet snapped sideways before he caught it. Hydraulic pressure on the left system dropped and held. Flight controls felt heavy, like driving with a slow leak in the power steering. Flyable. Not quite right, but flyable. Nothing reached the fleet. The lead pilot descended toward the Iranian ship. He was carrying one weapon specifically designed for this moment, the LRASM, long-range anti-ship missile. 2,500 pounds of sensors and artificial intelligence, designed to find and sink ships without any help from the pilot after launch. You point it in the right direction and it hunts on its own. But to launch it, he needed to descend below 16,000 feet. The Iranian ship's surface-to-air missiles could reach him at 17,000 feet. 1,000 feet of airspace where both things were true at the same time. He descended anyway. Delivery cue, green, LRASM off the rail. The missile dropped toward the Gulf, flying at wave-top height, 15 feet above the water, ignoring every burning ship screaming on distress frequencies. It had been trained to find ships still fighting, not ships already sinking. It found the Iranian vessel, quiet, still transmitting on military frequencies, still dangerous. The Iranian ship's crew fired their interceptor missile. It detonated against empty water, defeated by a wave at the exact wrong moment. The LRASM didn't notice. It hit the forward section at full speed. Then the second missile hit the waterline. The deck tilted. The cruise missiles Iran had spent the entire morning saving, aimed at American destroyers, tilted past the angle they needed to launch. They never fired. Then, hit the fleet when its defenses were empty. It failed by seconds, by inches, by one wave in the Persian Gulf at exactly the right moment. 2 pilots, damaged jets, nearly empty weapons, against a ship that had been launching drones for 20 straight minutes. That's the difference between a plan and what actually happens when the shooting starts. Like and subscribe for more stories like this. Comment below, what should we cover next? See you in the next one.